not. So
all right, so we're about to get into it, guys. Round 6. All right, so we see here the pass, the typical turn one Kaido play here.
Definitely. It's gonna be very interesting.
So it seems here, typical Kaido play, just down one and pass, and we're going from there.
And as the Zoro player playing Curly, getting that Sunny Kun, this is gonna be really rough already.
All right, so we see here it is on the one drop. All right, so here, boom, Jack into to pitch a Jack to ramp one.
Yeah, 100%. That's crazy. This is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, so Jack making its way back into the deck. Jack is back, baby.
Jack is really good. A lot of people tend to sleep on it, but I think it's a really good card. The simple fact that you just get a Dawn. Yeah, you discard something, but in some cases that you need that extra Dawn to ramp up. Especially against this matchup, I think one card that would definitely help a lot is that 10 drop, or to get to King and or Queen, where it's just like you're getting card advantage and board presence. Those are the two things that you really need. So let's see where this goes, honestly.
All right, so up at the top there, that is a Curly Dan. Sorry for the glare there. Just the you know how lighting goes already. But this is what it looks like a 5K swing with the Curly Dan.
He's gonna take the life, which is pretty understandable, and he's gonna swing 6 to face.
Yep.
And he's gonna discard the Shiki. Good solid 2K. Plays the 1 for the Nami, and decides to draw the 5, of course. That's another thing, is that interestingly enough, of the more recent ruling, where you can actually decide how many cards you wish to search off of with Nami and or any searcher. So you can declare, for example, I only want to search 3 cards and search the top 3 instead of top 5. And in some cases you don't want to do that, but for example, like if I'm playing Law and I've gone through my deck and I know what is there, then it's just a really advanced skill player thing to do. But I mean, realistically, you're going to search top 5 more times than not.
Yep. So here we see a 4K swing into the Curly Dan here.
Of course.
Just clearing it off the board, taking out a potential swinger. And that's what makes Zoro so strong this set as well, is because of that generic ability. Now, like 1K, like a 2K Nami is like an actual threat. 3K Sunny is a threat. Like a 3K Curly Dan is a threat, right? And now you see Wilson here dropping that Uta. So we saw this Uta earlier, just being able to Dawn minus, basically bounce, I believe, a Dawn.
Rest
A Dawn on block, right? So, or is it rest of 4?
Resting a 5 or less with returning a Dawn on block. And that's even whether or not you save it or not does not matter. But you're gonna jet pistol it anyway, which
a frame 1 jet pistol, right?
Yeah, of course. But it does help in this case because now instead of 3 swings, you're getting 2.
Yep. So, we're definitely seeing here just the strength of Red in general. And Katie's just having the outs right now, so it's pretty interesting matchup here.
Yes, honestly. And the good thing about Wilson's field and or game state right now is because it is already past turn 3 and has only taken 1 life. And that's a very good thing, because with Wilson getting into the later game, I feel like he is going to now have the more controllable state because of the fact of he's not swinging towards life to give you hand advantage. Instead, he wants to control that board and keep your hand very dry against a Zoro player. That's going to be your outs.
Yep. So we see the Makino here.
Swinging for 6.
Yep.
And that's just, I'm not even going to be shocked at the fact taking that life. It's just one of those things you typically want to do.
Yep, 100%. So now Wilson here, he takes the life, but he is up in card advantage.
100%.
He has a lot of cards in hand, so
and he's at that 8 Dawn. That's going to do something for sure.
Yep. So you can see maybe a 7-cost King here comes down to clear 2 bodies, or he just swings in and
just ridding board. Don't even blame him here.
Even the blocker is swinging out here. It's an attacking party, and then there comes the Queen, right? So unless there's a jet pistol right behind there. This Queen is gonna put in work for sure.
100%. Is that a Brachio bomber? My man's is running Brachio bomber.
I'm telling you, that's why I love watching Wilson play, bro. Because, because he plays these cards, right, that don't see a lot of play, but he uses them quite efficiently. Right?
Definitely, and he has some options here. He has Jack, he has Brachio bomber, he has King. I think honestly, in this state, running that that king might do some damage. He's about to be at 9 Don next turn. His opponent will most likely be at the 9 Don. I think that's what he's counting for right now, is to see whether or not he's about to drop that 9 drop with counting his Don. And honestly, where the game state where his opponent is at 7 Don, 6 Don. Yes, his opponent is at 7 Don. So next turn he will be at 9 drop. So I think he's trying to account for that. And he ended up grabbing that Brachio Bomber. Oh no, he drew the Brachio Bomber and trashed. That's interesting.
Yep. So I guess it was off of the what's it called?
Oh, that's
the
right.
Queen.
He did draw the 2 cards off of Queen, and one of them happened to be Brachio. He discarded Brachio,
Yep.
which makes sense. Typically, especially if his opponent is possibly dropping the 9 drop, Brachio's not going to do anything.
Yep. So Brachio is very good on the mid game when you are on evens, so you can drop that on curve and then match your opponent's Don next turn.
Fair.
Or be 1 up, right? So then you follow up with a 9 drop or something like that, right? So
That, and it's also very, really good in regards to playing against Whitebeards, because typically they drop 4 drops and 5 drops. So it's just something to really just pop and get rid of their board and still gain advantage off of. So he's going to do that Machina, so he can swing again for 5 to face. And he's going to come down to if Wilson wants to block with Queen for a free. Ooh.
Nope. And now you see Hell's Judgment here. So -3/-3 onto the leader. So that Zoro is now a 3K.
With the Don attach making him 4. And he's going to swing that to the blocker. Makes sense. Why not, kind of thing. He's going to block it with Queen. That's the real way.
That's funny.
That's the real way to do it.
Yep. So that was what was that there? That was a 3K swing, right?
4K because of the Don attach with Zoro.
Yeah.
No, you are right. 3K.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it brought him down to 2 with the Don attach making him 3. Pays the 2 Don to get the Curly. The question is, does he whiff? Most likely not.
Yeah, so that's the thing with Curly, right? Curly, Curly
Nami.
being able to search Nami and then just going Nami and then going into whatever is just so powerful, right?
Exactly.
Because you can see the Rush Zoro, you can see whatever card you need to do. You can now Nami again and dig, like, how many cards? That's 10 cards already that's been dug.
Exactly.
Right?
At this point, especially in the game, if you can remember your cards well enough, you start seeing or you start knowing what's going to come up next in your deck. And that's a very advanced skill player thing to do, because of the fact of it's really good with knowing what is going to come next. You know how to then plan ahead of time, rather than in an early game state where you don't know what's on top of your deck. And then you can start figuring out whether or not, like, oh, is this Curly going to make sense? Well, it will, because I know what's coming up next, kind of thing.
Yep, holding it for the late game, because you've seen cards, you know what cards have been played already and stuff like that. So now you know you're going to filter into your cards, right?
Exactly. And gets that Radical Beam and Vistas the blocker. That's the very smart thing to do, honestly. Getting that Radical Beam with Nami is a very good thing, especially in the later game state. That's just a 1-drop 4K. It's essential to Blast Breath that it is for Kaido.
Yep.
So I'm going to see where this goes. I think... Oh, he has that 10-drop in hand. That's
always very tempting.
Yo, that is so good next turn.
That is always very tempting.
That is so good next turn. Oof, that's going to be... I think he's not going to do it next turn, but can be so brutal.
All right, so you see here, and we know from previous OPO1, right, especially with that 10 drop, right, it is always weird when you need to drop that, because, like, you got to make sure you've committed yourself, right, and your board is empty, so your opponent overcommits, and then the 10 drop comes, and then you max value out of it, right?
Very true.
Because you're losing how many Dons? 6 Don to do that?
Exactly.
Right, so you're definitely going to be on the back foot, and with no Onigashima on board, right?
Yeah, it's going to be really, really rough.
If Wilson is running the Onigashima, so let's see what the decision here. And it seems like he's definitely playing around the 10 drop right now.
Yeah.
Because you see him swing there, so you know he's gonna do some spicy shenanigans here.
Of course.
So here, yep, there's a classic right there, King. So which one does he pop here? Is the question, right? Yep. So he gets
the Curly. So with that though, he is not getting that 10 drop next turn. I think what he is waiting for that 9 drop to come out. And at least with having Queen there, it puts his opponent on the curve of trying to figure out if Katie wants to drop the 9 drop and be defensive / being aggressive, or prioritize getting rid of the blocker. So it's going to be really, really interesting. I think Katie might just go 6 to the Queen to check. get something out of Wilson's hand, and then possibly play the 9-drop.
Oh, here's something else here, right? So notice that Wilson also has 2 Dawn active right now. So what he can do here is potentially go for a Thunder Bagua, ramp 1, and then on the following turn drop the 10-drop.
Well, that's the thing. He wouldn't be able, or Wilson would not be able to, because of the simple fact that Thunder Bagua only does that at 2 life. Because Wilson's at 3 life, it wouldn't be possible unless.
So what he takes the hit here now, and then
purposely does that so he can get the 10-drop. That'd be really, really good.
All right, so let's see here if he's. Yep. So you see here he's taking the hit right here, no trigger, and now when this Zoro swings, he's just gonna Thunder Bagua.
I see it. Yep, Thunder Bagua.
There's the call right there.
There it is.
There's the ramp 1 there. So now this is where we're gonna see some spice, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be this potentially 3 hit here into the 10 cost.
100%.
But now, do you 10 cost here? Because now you lose 2 bodies, right? Wouldn't you just go for the clear and then potentially swing with leader and then maybe try to trigger 1?
I think with Katie feeling bored.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
you have to.
Now
you have to. Yeah, 100%. You have to. You have to do it.
Okay, so with that play there, we're definitely going to see the 10 drop here. So now,
100%. Swinging 6.
So swing 6, swing 5, then 10 drop.
Oh yeah, and I think Katie knows it's coming.
Yep.
Just checking 5 to face.
Yep. Just going straight face.
100%. Do not blame. I think Katie knows it's coming too, but I think Katie does not have hand advantage because of being dried so early on. Swinging 6 is probably going to go through as well. Ooh, this is going to be rough. Jet pistol, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, Wilson doesn't care.
Wilson does not care.
He
knows the board's going
honestly,
anyway.
This is going to be rough. 10 drop.
There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You felt that.
Ooh, that's going to be rough.
That is a 4 body.
And those are good bodies too. The Zoro, the Nico.
So now I wonder if Katie was thinking about this, right? Taking the hits, hopefully seeing some rushers here to maybe to pressure Wilson. So Wilson played that very well, right?
And Katie does have some cards there though, but I think it's not going to be enough to get Katie out of this. Now, do keep in mind that Katie does have that Radical Beam, so it's a good defensive. But honestly,
what's going to happen is that Wilson's going to go to 6 Dawn, and can Katie out an 18K swing?
Exactly. That's going to be a really good, because it's one thing that Katie has to try to establish some type of follow-up board where it's like, yeah, you can swing the 7. Wilson's probably going to counter out of that or take it, depending on how he feels is the board and what can be done.
So that's why he's checking the Dawn right now, because he wants to see what he can possibly get punished here by.
Exactly.
So he's just going to take the extra card here. No trigger. Does it look like a trigger? He was like thinking about it there. So
questionable decisions here. Don't blame him.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting. Does Katie want to try to establish a board? Does Katie have rushers? I saw the Machino. I saw the Radical Beam.
So it seems like here, because Katie is putting 1 Dawn aside, we obviously know she has the Radical Beam, right? So this is probably going to be a 5-cost rusher here, more than likely, tapping the 5 Dawn.
Yep. Seeing that Luffy, and I'm pretty sure, Wilson. Yep. I'm pretty sure Wilson has the 2K in hand. I haven't seen one majority of this game. So.
Yeah, so he hasn't played much 2K, so this is going to be a 7K swing.
Correct.
Right? And with 3 Dawn potentially open as well.
I think Wilson's going to have to discard here.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Especially at 1 life, you're not getting up to 7 Dawn to potentially be able to use your leader ability and then swing at 12K for game. So what do you do here? You have to survive potentially 2 turns. So how do you proceed from here to make sure you get to that 2-turn mark?
So let's do it like this. Let's act like if you're the Zoro player and I'm the Kaido player. As Wilson, I feel as though that it may be advantageous to take this hit because there not being something that costs 2 that can do a swing on me right now. And Katie's.
But there is something that is 3 that can do a swing on you.
Very true. But at this point, then you have Wilson has to have a counter on him. If he does not have a counter, if I have a 1K counter, that's completely fine. But because Katie is swinging for 7, that's 2 cards out of my hand. I feel like, honestly, take the hit. Whatever is in my life will probably get me there. Oh, yeah, he has Uda. Or Wilson has Uda. Ooh, countered out of it, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if you have it, do it. 100%. Preserve that life as much as you can. Playing this Honeycomb makes entire sense.
Yep, so now it's just going to establish board presence here. So now what would be interesting to see is if Wilson draws into maybe a 7-cost king or a 6-cost king. 6-cost king would be good because he could pop the Sunicune and then swing over the Luffy, protecting his board state for one more turn, and then being able to use 12k swing into a 10k swing, or 10k the 10k swing into the 12k swing from the Kaido, and then you use leader ability, burn it, and then swing for 12k potentially.
Very, very true. I think with 3 cards in hand, I think Katie also has now 3 cards in hand as well. I'm pretty sure I saw the 6-drop in Wilson's hand. So I think, yes, it is very... I think it's the move for sure to play the 6-drop, pop the Sunny, go big body Kaido into the Luffy, knowing that Wilson will more than likely have that go through because of the simple fact that Katie will want to try to preserve life rather than... Yep, see? There we go right there. Trying to preserve life rather than go for that extra 0.5 to phase. Interesting. Discarding the 2K.
Yep, so so the Uta right there. So yeah, so this is good as well because now the Luffy is off a board. The Uta will potentially protect from the Sunicune. So the problem here now for this board state, for sure, is a jet pistol. Oh, because if a jet pistol, it just hurts.
Yep,
right? Jet pistol
hurts.
Right there, boom. Now, Wilson has 2 Dawn up. Does he have a Thunder Bagua here to potentially ramp one?
Judgment. Ooh,
or Hell's Judgment.
Hell's Judgment? Hell's Judgment.
Yeah, Hell's Judgment. -3k, -3k, and just like that. So
Katie's. It seems like a GG moment right now, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on turns here for sure because now Wilson is in the driver's seat once more, right?
100%.
Because Hell's Judgment is just a hell of a card.
And what makes it very much so worse is the fact that Wilson next turn is going to be at 8 Dawn.
Yeah.
Could easily swing Kaido if that gets countered out for whatever reason. Ability, return back to Dawn. You can even just go return back to Dawn.
I think he'll be at 7 specifically. All right, so here comes the Rush Zoro.
Ooh, and just last card, 2K.
2K counter. This guy.
He knows. Wilson knows.
Okay, so now he's on 7 Dawn.
I think
he's gonna just.
Take that last life.
And then just 12k swing.
GG.
And then there's the
GG. What the come up? Come on, Kaido's doing too good right now.
Yeah, so
that was such a good game.
Yeah, those Thunder Baguas and just those events are just really good in this matchup, right? Hell's Judgment, what a card from OPO2.
Oh, 100%. Right? That
just
makes
-3k, just being able to stop a whole turn without the leader swing, right? And then going from that straight into the Thunder Bagua, right? To be able to ramp 1 to 10 cost clear when you're down 1, and then on top of it.
So good.
Oh, man.
For everybody in chat, this is exactly how a Kaido player should be playing. The fact that to trick your opponent into thinking that they're going to have 9 drop instead of 10 drop, and then to take the hit, and then right before you know your opponent can now do nothing for the rest of the move, or for the rest of the turn, for them to now know that a 10 drop is coming after they overcommitted, so rough.
Very rough. Very, very rough.
Oh my god, it's gonna be such a that's such a good game.
Yep, so guys, that is wow. That was it. That was the game.